Hello, hello. Welcome to the Seth Justice Show. I am, of course, Seth Justice. Kind of is in the name. Don't know why I do that every week, but all right, well, that's just what we're gonna do. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. The Seth Justice Show is on Spotify and YouTube. Make sure you go check it out on the other one if you're listening to the other one. Anyway, social media, make sure you go like and follow, subscribe, whatever the things people say are. Instagram at justice_radio, at the Seth Justice Show, or at Seth Justice Show on X. Couldn't get the in there. Couldn't. Don't know why, but I couldn't do it. I don't know. And again, the Seth Justice Show on Spotify and YouTube. Lots to talk about today after the week that has been. And it's just so much is going on in the world. And if you've been on TikTok, if you've been on Instagram, if you've been on you've seen a bunch of political stuff going on. And yeah, I think last week's episode of saying, remember to think of you is even more important today than it has been, last week. So that being said, take a breath, take a pause, and let's remember that we can only control what we can control. I think that's a very important thing. And speaking of TikTok, looks like this past Thursday, it seemed that it didn't go away. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, Thursday was supposed to be the last day of TikTok. And it's not surprising that you wouldn't know. It isn't, because, well, I don't think anybody cares now. Not like everybody isn't afraid to be like, oh my goodness, TikTok is gonna go away. And I think that's their plan. I honestly think that is, because we're gonna be so nonchalant about it moving forward that we're just gonna be like, yeah, all right, it's finally over, it's done. We don't have to worry about this anymore. We can just move on with our lives. I think that's what they're doing. It's smart, because we're, as a collective, morons sometimes about this, and we do things that are dumb, and we don't really think things through as a collective. Can't always be said for individuals, but either way, it is one of those deals that TikTok is still around for 3 more months. And the outrage that we saw the first time this came to be, or the possibility could have happened, to now, 2 totally different spectrums. And that's like within, what has it been, like 6 months? No, 5 months. 5 months, if my math is correct. Almost 6 months, where, when it first happened, we're just like, oh my goodness, the world is going to end. This is terrible, the worst thing in the world. And then all of a sudden, it's back, and we're like, The second time, it was like, oh, this is going to be such a pain in the ass. Like, this is going to be awful. Like, it sucks, but we weren't as outraged. And then fast forward to now, I didn't see anything on social media at all about people talking about this. Like, 0 people said anything. I mean, I'm sure there were some people, like some news influencers or whatever, saying, hey, TikTok could be banned on Thursday, may not be banned. Don't really know. But yeah, it's going to get to the point, probably the 5th or 6th time, where we're finally going to be like, oh, okay. Yep, it's finally over. It's done. So or by the 4th time, people are going to be outraged again and crying and complaining about it, and then be like, oh, okay, here we go. And I love TikTok. Again, I think I've said this ad nauseum on this podcast, where I'm just like, I like TikTok a lot. It saves me from boredom. Do I want to see TikTok go? No. Do I want to see it done well? I mean, I don't really know. I mean, if people are stealing my info, I mean, there's not much to steal. Let me tell you right now. I mean, if you want to steal, like, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, money-wise, there isn't a lot there. Let me tell you right now. If you want to, like, I don't even know. I'm still paying off student loans. If you want to pay those off for me, great. That'd be fantastic. Or if you want to pay my car off, that'd be great. Pay my rent. I don't care. You can do all that. As long as you do it and not, take away from me trying to pay those things. It'd be great. Fantastic. But either way, TikTok is still around doing its thing. And apparently somebody else who is doing their thing is Pavel Durov. Now, you may not know who that is. Pavel Durov, he's the founder of Telegram, which is a messaging app. And you might have seen it on, like, I don't know. It depends on the kind of influencers that you follow. But if you're following a certain kind of influencers, they may use that to talk to their fans. And I'm doing that in the most nice way possible without being gross and disgusting and whatever. And now, since I said that, you absolutely know what I mean. Anyway, Pavel Durov, he is worth $17 billion. $17 billion. That's a lot of money, all right? And it becomes increasingly less amount of money because of one very important thing. Actually, 100 plus different things. Apparently, he says that he has 103 children. 103. Now, if you're just like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe someone with the name of Pavel has that much game, I am in agreement with you. I don't know how this happens. I don't know how this works. I don't know what the idea of this guy. This guy must have so much game that it's unbelievable. Or he's just so rich that he gets away with everything. I don't really know. Either way, the dude is just, I don't even know. I don't even know. $17 billion is going to go like that with child support. I mean, probably Nick Cannon has some advice for him. But even Nick Cannon doesn't have that much. Like, this guy is his own barometer when it comes to having so many kids. Like, I don't even know how he has the stamina. Like, this dude, what is he even thinking and doing? Like, he must be, bricked up all day long. And he's just like, let's do that. Hey, let's do that. Like, wow. Like, this guy, I don't even know, man. But apparently he is going to do something for his 100 kids because obviously he won't even be able to have a relationship with all of his kids because there's so damn many children that he has fathered. Now, this could be a lie too. But either way, what he says he's going to do is he is going to give each of his children, when he kicks the bucket, he is going to give each of them a portion of his money, his wealth, his increased profits from Telegram and all that other stuff that he does. So it's just like, oh, golly, man, I don't even know. Like, this dude is just, he should change his name to Randy. He really should. Like, jokes. Love it. They even fell flat with me. Either way. But I don't even know, man. Like, that is just, I can't even imagine right now having one kid, let alone 100 kids. Like, I want kids. And we talked about this last time, where I want to be a dad, I want to be a husband, and all that stuff, and it'd be great. But to have 100 kids, 100, like I said before, you can't even have a relationship with them. Like, after 10, you're just like, okay, so I remember you're my kid, great. All right, that's awesome. After 100, you probably couldn't even tell who your kids are and who they're not. I may be his kid. I doubt it. Seriously do, but we can do some genetic testing and or, set up, something in your will that gives me paid. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. And then turns out that I'm not, and then it's just like, all right, cool. Which, let's be honest, no, I'm not. Too old. And I don't even know how old this guy is. Like, if he is, like, he can't be that old, though. Like, that math is not mathin'. Hold on. Pavel Durov, CEO of Telegram, he is 40 years old. 40. And to have 100 children, he's got to have something. Like an STD. He's got to have something that signifies Pavel Durov was here. Like, what in the world? So, what? how many kids would that, hold on, 40 years, having 103 kids, divide that by 40, that's like 2.5 kids a year. Since he was like born. And we're going to assume that he's probably been active since he was like 16 or something. And that's 6 kids a year. That math does not make sense at all. Pavel, I'm calling BS on you. I am. Because that is unrealistic. Like, there's no, how many baby mamas? Give us the baby mamas' names. So we can cross-check, cross-examine, so we can talk about this. Look at the genetics, because that is You're 40 years old and have 100 kids? Like, Charlie Sheen can't even pull those numbers. And the dude was legendary. Like, he was one of those legendary men that would, like, go about his day. But that also led him to where he is now with HIV. And you're saying you have 100 kids, he's got to have something. And or he's totally full of BS. There's no other explanation, because that is just unreal. Unreal. I mean, I can't even fathom that kind of like, my brain can't even comprehend it. Like, and I have a tough enough time trying to find somebody to date, let alone having somebody where I hook up with them and then have a kid, and then a week later hook up with somebody else, have another kid. Like, that is the only explanation I could possibly think of, that he could have 100 kids. But again, the dude has to have a stamina of like 17 million horses. I mean, I can't even hate. I mean, I am obviously. I am obviously hating. But if he's lying, I'm going to be really upset. Because that is just setting us as guys back so much. So much. Like, I don't even know, man. Like, gosh. What? I kind of hope it's true and kind of hope it's not true. And I kind of hope it's true, because as a guy, you're just like, man, he's slinging. Proud of you, bro. But I hope it's not true, because that means 100 kids, or a very small amount of those kids, actually know their dad. Like, they actually know their dad. And probably most of them don't even. Like, that's, I don't even know. Even though you're worth $17 billion and do some amazing things, and created an app that does well, you should be able to have a, thought is like, probably should have stopped at 10. Probably should have stopped at 15, 20, 30. But 100? You're a rare breed, Pavel. I still can't believe he has game. Anyway, a lot's been said this week, and talking about game. Like, I don't know how he does it either, but he also doesn't have 100 kids. So Billy Ray Cyrus, who he does have 3 fairly famous daughters, well, 2 daughters and a son. One is supremely famous, probably more famous than he was, and is, I would say is definitely now. Like, she is definitely higher up on the food chain. But Billy Ray Cyrus, Elizabeth Hurley, they're dating, but it has not been the easiest road for Billy, because his son is calling him out as evil. Miley says that, when they were on set of Hannah Montana, he would just light up a joint or light up something. It might have been a joint, might not have been a joint. I don't know. Didn't read too far into it. But he would light up on set, and he would blame it on Miley. Now, I don't think Miley has very much hurt feelings about it, but it also kind of like explains a lot about how people were saying that she was off the rails. Because if you take that little itty bitty rumor and someone saying, oh, Miley would light up on, set of Hannah Montana when she was 15, 16 years old. And if she's doing that, what is she doing outside in her personal life? And so that makes sense from when, what was it? The Robin Thicke days where she was like grinding on him or twerking on him. And prior to that, where people were like saying that she was losing her mind and she was going to end up like every other child star that has ever been. Haha, Amanda Bynes. But yeah, and it's just like one of those deals where you're just like, oh, you hear this? Oh, so that's what's actually happening. So that's what we're doing here. Oh, that makes a lot more sense. That her dad was actually the one lighting up, and this rumor got blown way out of proportion, and now we're just doing this. That's what we're doing. Got it. Makes sense. I mean, it doesn't really make sense because it's honestly terrible. Like, again, bad parenting. Like, you're lighting up and then you blame your daughter. I mean, I can understand blaming the dog because a dog passes gas. It is like, you know, being just drowned in just the noxious smelling gas. You know, I was going to make another, you know, example there. Thought about it, but I was just like, not the time, Seth. Not the time. But anyway, but to blame your daughter and not just own up to it and be like, hey, no, that was me. My bad. It's just kind of like, ugh. Kind of gives me that gross feeling, you know? And I like Ray Cyrus. And I also like his shirts right now because he was out on the town with Elizabeth Hurley and he was wearing this like long sleeve pink shirt. And if you know me, especially recently, I've been supremely into like fashion and trying to look good. And I don't know if this is necessarily in fashion right now or in vogue, whatever old people used to say. But I don't know. I like it. Especially when it's like good fitting clothes and it makes you look good. It just also makes you feel good. Makes you feel more confident. And that's something that I've been trying to do with myself because I it may be strange to say this, but I am not the most confident person in the world at times. I may sound like it, but I am not always. So doing this helps me. And also I do a crap ton of other stuff to try and get my mental health to where it needs to be. So I'm not, you know, a terrible, awful human being that yells at people and da-da-da-da-da-da. Though I will say one of my coworkers this week, he was having a tough week. It was very, very up and down for him. But one day was so bad. He's like, Seth, I can't be around you because you are way too positive and way too happy. And I was like, there we go. There we go. That's the type of criticism, even though it wasn't a criticism at all. But that's the type of remarks that I want to hear. And I think says a lot about me as an individual and also kind of gives me a confidence boost. It makes me happy that people see me as a happy individual because usually I am. There are some rare times, I wouldn't say rare, but like between 5 to 15% of the time I am somewhere in the frame of Dr. House being in terrible pain to just my mind just being yeah. And so for somebody to say that and see that in me that I'm happy a lot is a good thing because usually I can't hide my emotions very well, and if I'm being supremely like happy and excited and stuff like that, then I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's do it then. Even if I'm not feeling 100%, usually I'm pretty seen as happy. So again, that makes me feel good. But anyway, back to the clothes. That also gives me a confidence boost. And I like hearing things from people like, oh, that's a great shirt. Oh, that's da 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 da. I like your jeans. I like your shoes. Dude, dope haircut. Like, that's the type of stuff that it may sound vain and it may sound like attention-seeking behavior, and it absolutely is. But sometimes you need that. And I've noticed with myself, I've needed it a little bit more, the validation. But it's a line, right? You got to understand, you got to balance it in your head that this line I need to make sure that I keep so I don't become an egomaniac or so reliant on it that I seek it. And I may already be seeking it. I don't really know, to be honest. I mean, I feel like in some degree I am, because I'm trying to, buy nice clothes and all that stuff. But I'm not doing it every day or every week or anything like that. If I see something I like, I'm going to get it. And then if it works out, it works out. So I'm also trying to find a lady. That's what I'm trying to do. So, I look good. Because I feel like with my personality and everything like that, I like who I am. I really do. And I'm proud of who I am. And the journey that I've been on, and I've been thinking about this a lot, the journey I've been on has not always been easy. It hasn't. I mean, started off with being blind in one eye. It's not an easy thing to, do, even though I've lived with it my entire life. It's not easy. And there are some times where I wish, I wish I had both eyes working, because then I could actually, do something sports related or see depths better or blah, 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 blah. But so to have those moments where people compliment you gives me a lot of joy and happiness. And again, it may be vain, it may be self-serving, it may be, attention-seeking behavior, but it is what it is. I'm not going to bend over backwards to get it. I know that line. I'm not going to forcibly do that to myself, because then I'll lose myself. I'll lose that person I am inside. So what do you do when that happens? Well, you acknowledge it. You acknowledge it. And you move past it. You move forward. You try and find ways. If it's being an extreme distraction to you, you take that away. Or you minimize it. Or you drink a mojito like I do, and it makes me feel better. I really do love mojitos. They're really great. But anyway, Billy Ray Cyrus, I don't know, man. That just seems like a tough road, especially for him. So maybe we should give him some grace. But it's also that's tough. That's tough. But it's also the past. And this is something that I was thinking of, kind of, but I couldn't say it in the right words. And then all of a sudden I was watching an anime, which, if you don't know, I'm a huge anime nerd. I love anime. And I used to be kind of ashamed of it, like saying that, but now I'm not. And I've been saying this for years. I mean, pretty much ever since college, I've said I'm an anime fan and love anime. But, some people disagree with that, or some people think it's weird. But anyway, so with anime, I was watching this series called Bungo Stray Dogs. And you don't really need to know the backstory of it. It's a really great anime. So if you're into anime, go check it out. Bungo Stray Dogs. I started watching it back in 2016, 2015, when it first came out. But never, got through it. Honestly, because I was watching a lot of anime and probably forgot about it. But anyway, I'm watching it now. And so the main character, he's an orphan. And he gets pretty much kicked out of his orphanage. And he's going through life and trying to find himself. But he's also thinking back about the times when he was at the orphanage and he was getting abused. And he was essentially told he was nothing. And he kept that with him, that part of his past. And so that part of his past just radiated throughout his present and made him doubt his future. And then this one scene, a guy calls him a fool and worthless, not because he is those things, but because he is reminding himself of what was said in the past. And this character said, it doesn't matter the past. Your past, it doesn't matter, because that is not who you are today. And whether this is Billy Ray Cyrus talking about, lighting up on this on the set of Hannah Montana, or just talking about it you and yourself. Yes, those things happened in the past, and could they have shaped a portion of you? 100%. But that is not the person you are today. So the decisions of yesterday are not your decisions today. So who you are, what you are, and what you decide to do, that is the most important thing. And not, just because you decided to do it 10, 15, 20 years ago. That person is not you today. So what does the you today tell you or show you or think of to do? And that is the person you decide to be. And so that's why today is such an important day to be you. And so anime has taught me a lot of things like that. Like I love anime because those lessons, those things, it's just like any lesson or thing, right? There could be moments in time where you hear the same message and it doesn't click with you. And you're just like, oh, okay, well, that's neat. I probably won't need that, but cool, thanks. And then you fast forward and you're rewatching a show or you go through life and then you think of that moment. And you're just like, oh, this is the time. This is the climax of the story. This is the left or right turn. This is the moment I not prepared for, but this is a very important moment in my decision making and how I want to live life. And that is a moment where you need to remember who you are today. Like, what are your principles? What are your morals? What do you stand for as a person today? And so that is very important. So, yeah. I mean, and anime has shown me a lot of that. I mean, and I love anime. Like I've said that probably 3 or 4 times now, but it's one of those shows. It's like one of those genres that teach so much. And I don't know why they do such great storytelling. I mean, their storytellers are fantastic, and I love a good story. But the ability to showcase and tell a story, and like the television that we have here in the United States, some of it is really, really good and given the time and length to do that. Anime, usually they have the time and length to do that. And if there aren't any good storytellers, then it doesn't get made. It's the quality. And to be honest, sometimes we have low quality moments. Sometimes there are low quality moments that happen a lot more than others. But because we have low quality moments does not mean our entire genre of who we are is any less significant. Because there are some really good animes that I watched that only had 12 episodes that, they were good. The stories weren't great, but they still told a story that was impactful. And that makes them significant. Just like each and every single person's life is significant. So if you have a moment today, this week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, where you have to make a decision, where it's so important that you do make a solid decision, remember a multitude of things. Remember who you are as a person. Remember what your choice or choices you have to make. Make sure you realize that even if you make those choices, they're for the betterment of you and not because of somebody else and not because you want to hurt anybody else. Because if you want to do those things, then it's not a very good quality moment. And it doesn't mean that you have to be mean, angry, or retaliatory about it. Those things are those things. Your choices are your choices. But make sure you are proud of those choices. Make sure you are happy about those choices. And make sure that if you're looking back on who you are now, as opposed to you 10 years from now, that you are proud of that person who was 10 years your, junior. Because our decisions are very, very important. But we also shouldn't look back on our past and be like, well, that guy was a jerk. Can't believe that. It's like, no, you're you. You may not have known what those decisions led to, but just because it's in the past doesn't mean it has to define who you are today. So hopefully, I don't know why I was being so preachy there. I don't know why I, had a moment where I was just like, but it was a decision I made and just kind of went with the words. So again, I hope you have a great week. I hope you choose to be somebody that you're proud of. And remember that you are important. Nobody in this world is more significant or better than anybody else. And as long as we have love in our hearts, even though that sounds cheesy, as long as we have love in our hearts and we make decisions that we can be proud of, shoot, we can do a lot and a lot of good in this world. So thank you so much for listening. Don't forget, go to my Instagram at justice_radio. Go to my X at Seth Justice Show. And also Spotify and YouTube to listen to the Seth Justice Show. Again, I say thank you so much for listening. We'll talk later. Peace.